Hey there everyone. So this time around I'll be reviewing Jack Kirby's The Fourth World Omnibus, and this thing is a beast. I mean, just look at the size of this thing. This comfortably fits all four of my fingers. It's like huge. It's, I would say, the only book, or rather I have two books I could guess which are comparable to this, but then the closest in thickness would be The Big Damn Sin City. So yeah, it's a massive book and it's a true value for money. But before we get into this book, do subscribe to the channel and do comment in the comment section below if you have anything to say about these videos. Do look up the old videos if you're new to the channel, because there's a lot of content if you like this type of stuff which deals with artwork and beautifully illustrated books. So yeah, this is The Fourth World Omnibus by Jack Kirby. I've been trying to get my hands on this one for quite a bit of time, but I could not, because I mean I don't think this was in print. Probably it was out of print, but I'm not very sure. But it was not available in the Indian market easily. I did get my hands eventually on it, and this cost me around 6,000, which I think is a pretty decent price considering the amount of content that you get. Just, I mean, again, I have to emphasize how thick this is. This would certainly, this can certainly be used to kill someone. So let's get this. I mean, it's so heavy. I'm having troubles just flipping it over. Let me give you the blurb, the front blurb. So this is the front blurb. Do feel free to pause this here and read if you want. And let me just get the dust jacket off so that you can give you the back blurb as well. Oh my god, that's heavy. So yeah, that's the back blurb. Jack Kirby is a legend. I mean, of course, everyone knows about his creation of the Fantastic Four and Thor and such unique characters, but he created some of the lesser known characters which are just as good, like the Genesis Old Gods, which are featured in this one. And although I've not read this whole thing yet, I'm around 100-150 pages and I'm really liking the storyline, even though the artwork is a little dated. I mean, it was written, I think, in the 60s or so, or maybe 70s. Not very sure. Correct me if I'm wrong on that point. I'm not a very big on comics history, but the storyline is fantastic. So let me just open this up. It is so big that I actually have troubles on positioning this. It doesn't pose any problems while reading, because I usually read it like one. I keep this side open and on a pillow or something, so that it has a rest. But if you like holding your books up while reading, this would be a major pain. I I highly recommend you not getting that in that case. So yeah, let me just, before we go into the book, let me just show you the binding. Uh, Standard DC binding, and I'm not a very big fan of this, because for such huge books I would have preferred a little more reinforced binding, and these come off quite easily. But you don't have a choice if you really want to collect the whole of Fourth World in a, I mean, in a space constrained option. This is the best you can get. So yeah, let me just open this up. The artwork, as you can see, is very clean, very reminiscent of the old artwork, and I personally like this. But I can see people, people who have not read a lot of comics like this. I have not read a lot of comics like this because I did not grow up in the 60s, 70s, or 80s. But people who have grown up with this kind of stuff, they would love it. Others do not usually love it. It's usually a binary thing for most people, but I find it pretty good, even though I did not grow up with it. Not just because of the storyline, but because of the cleanliness. Just, I mean, look at how clean the artwork is. This is not available in most of the later uh, comics that have come up, and actually the artwork changes. I mean, you can see the artwork evolving over time. There are more how would I put it, more details woven into the artwork later on. So for example, in this part here, look at the details in this I don't know if they are good or bad guys, but in this soldier's uniform, which would not be present in the earlier parts of the book. If we go back, let's see. Oh, and look at this page, for example. They like Kirby has used lots of different artwork into this thing. It was one of his dream projects. So yeah, just look at this section, for example. His I mean this guy's suit, or maybe let's go a little back. I cannot find a comparable. So for example, the suits worn by these two people, I think they are dark seeds. uh, yeah, they are dark seeds minions. So yeah, look at this one and then look at this one. The artwork has gradually improved, but the style is consistent throughout, and I think this is really going to be a blast. I love reading. I at least I have been loving reading this book. I'm not much into it. So yeah, that's about it. Let me get to the end. So as you can see at the very end, this is a different comics altogether. This is, I think, a spin-off or something. Yeah, Hunger Dogs. So this would seem like very different artwork from the main book, and it is, because if I'm not wrong, this is cell shaded. This is called cell shaded artwork. Not a very big fan of this, but yeah. So there are a few. I think at the end there should be a few. Yeah, uh, character information. Yeah. So beautiful dreamer, uh, Big Barda, Desard, Dr. Bedlam, High Father. He's a pretty famous character, but I won't give it away. Mantis and so on. Mother Box, New Genesis, and then at the end there are a few sketches. Yeah, very few sketches, and then a few cover arts, I think, for Forever People. This one is Forever People, and at the very end there is a little bit of artwork, and that's about it. So yeah, do let me know if you have anything to say about this video, anything to say about this book in particular, or anything to say at all. As always, happy reading.